Holy shit.
And that's all. Hemlock is the people's champ.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. So we're at the Petersen Museum in Los Angeles. It's a little rainy today, but we're able to make it here early because there's something very special behind me. I got invited to come check out the Ken Block exhibit before it opens to the public it'll be open till October, but it hasn't opened to the public yet. I believe in a couple days. Let's walk in, check it out, and here we go. And yes, right off the bat, you know, everything about this exhibit is phenomenal. And yes, the Huna truck is here. I was freaking out when I walked inside and I saw this because it was at Barrett-Jackson, and I thought I would never see it again because it went for a private auction and sold for just under $1 million, I believe for $900,000. But they were able to actually bring it here. Shout out to the Petersen Museum and everyone that made this happen. So we're gonna walk individually and show you guys all the different vehicles and highlight a little bit of each that they have written underneath. But yes, every single car is here that Ken drove, and they have Gymkhana on the wall and just everything playing as well. So we're gonna walk in. I love that they have different pictures of him and his family just going on right there. So right off the bat, we have the 2008 Subaru STI from Gymkhana 2, filmed in 2009. This is at the Port of Long Beach. This is a 566 horsepower, all-wheel drive rig. Just to be in here again is surreal. I just get goosebumps looking at these cars and being so close to them, and knowing that Ken drove all these is just really, really special. Also, they have a lot of Larry Chen's pictures up on the wall behind each exhibit, and we'll take a look at that. So we'll take a look at the car and then what's going on behind the walls at the same time. If I'm going too fast, guys, I'm going to slow down a little bit because I'm just so excited. I love how the front splitter is kind of knocked off there, just, you know, keeping it just like as he drove it. So this was Pikes Peak. And I love how they blew them up on the wall. I would love this in the house where it's just like some giant shot, especially this one right here. Let me zoom out a little bit there and show that to you guys. Some of the most iconic shots ever of Ken. Right next to it, we have the 2022 Audi. This is the e-tron. This was actually shot back home where I'm from in Las Vegas. You guys remember he was like tearing it up around the strip. I remember right when they were going to shoot this, they were shooting it late at night and planning, they shut down the whole strip actually just to prep for this. It was really late at night, early morning, and I heard rumors that the Hoonigan crew were out there shooting this. You know, every single one of these cars is a work of art, but this thing's a marvel of technology. Especially what Audi did. Wow. And over right next to it, we have the insane 1994 Ford Escort. This is the RS. WRC. This had that turbocharged 2.0, making 600 horsepower. And this was filmed for Gymkhana 10, I believe. I think this was one of the vehicles that they used for Gymkhana 10. But Ken did drive this. In a couple videos, if I recall correctly. Actually, I love the livery on this and how it looks.
Yeah, I had this great business career going to DC. Then I transitioned back to this race kit, and not only have I got out and raced many of the
I love
big
how they have
races
his
and
videos
reached
just
a pretty
going
high
on
level of racing,
all around
but
there.
then to have like this Gymkhana series, like that sort of career alone there is insane. So you combine those two, yeah, I'm a really lucky bastard.
And then right next to it, we have, of course, the Mustang that you guys know and love. This is the 65 Hunicorn that all my Ford fans and Mustang fans absolutely love seeing. I know you guys are big fans of this. You gotta clean this, man. That's such an honor. That's pretty cool. It looks amazing too. Nice work. This is surreal to stand in front of this and to be this close to it. Every time I've seen this car, it's been surrounded by like fence posts and people. They didn't want people getting closer, which I'm sure they'll do here once the exhibit actually opens to the public. But for this to actually be here and you able to see it this close and experience it, it's just insane. And they have different parts of the Gymkhana playing actually up here. This is actually all the Gymkhanas going on for a bit here. They're still cleaning, so I'm just gonna kind of walk around the cars that aren't being cleaned right now and give you guys a look at all those. But yeah, this is where you just kind of want to stand and take it all in because it's crazy to see the legacy all happening at once. It's kind of like when you watch one Gymkhana and you're so like hyped up. Now you get to see all these going at the same time, and you're just like, what is going on? So here we have the Subaru. This one was really cool. This is the STI. It's 2005, and this was, I believe, Gymkhana 1. I remember it was the very first one. They really cleaned all these cars and made them shine. We'll walk through the timeline that they have all along the wall here, and I'll show you guys that up close. This RS is insane. I'm a huge fan of this car. This one was just tearing it up, and I love how the tires are still kind of cooked there. And this was Gymkhana 9, if I recall correctly. And I remember buying some of this merch back in the day where it had this livery on it. I believe it was one of the hats that I got. And to see this here is just wild. Right next to it is the 2022. This is the Porsche that you guys have seen. His daughter drove this later, which was really cool. This makes 1,400 horsepower. And this is the Pegasus. Wow. This was at SEMA when I came last saw it 2 years ago. And I couldn't get it closer because there's just so many people around it. But now I get a closer look at everything. Again, marvel of technology. Really neat. All the details that they put right there. And then let's loop back to what they have going on here in the middle there. So they have a couple of his suits and also memorabilia on the other side. But to see his racing suits up on there on the wall, it's really special. And it makes you really amazed at everything he did to set the standard and pave the way for what motorsports is today across the board. So we'll go back to this beautiful car that you rarely see. This is RS 200. You rarely see these. I think I saw one at Dirtfish Rally in Seattle. Only 148 were produced of these. It makes 700 horsepower, 2.1 inline 4 motor, all-wheel drive. I would love to drive one of these. And we'll loop back around here. Here they have all the different parts, some memorabilia, you know, some cool wrecked parts. And I love that they kept all these up here. It just adds so much more to the legacy and the history behind of what Hoonigan is and what Ken Block has done. Hashtag ain't care, to strive to win at any cost with zero mechanical sympathy or regard for one's well-being. Hell yeah. And then last but not least, we'll give you guys a walk around of the Huna truck. I'm so glad I got the chance to film this for you guys up close. I couldn't get that close to it at Barrett-Jackson, and to have a second opportunity to film this one again. This one was the reason why I really fell in love even more so with the Ford brand and everything I get to do with them now. Was, again, it was that Mustang there and then this truck. There's actually an EcoBoost in here, which is wild, and you know how much horsepower it's pushing down. But and then let's give you guys a quick look at the wall here. I'll walk along the whole wall so you guys can look at everything. Again, this is going to be open till October. Once it opens to the public, come by, tell them Petersen Museum you saw it from Excalibur's channel. We'd appreciate that. And, you know, you can see the, you know, honor Ken Block in that way. The memorabilia here and shoes that Ken Block wore, it's just crazy to me that it's actually here, all in one place. One of the more iconic shots there. And then they have some pictures of Ken Block on the wall there with, on this video here, with pictures of his family and things like that as well. It is such an honor to be here. Ken changed the motor. I think he impacted all of our lives, and to be here as one of the first and see everything that he's done, and to have an entire exhibit honor him, you know, it's wild. If Ken impacted your life, or if you have a memory of him, drop a comment below. We'd love to read it. We'd love to see it. And, you know, shout out to everyone that made this happen, the Petersen Museum, and for those that invited me out here. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching, and appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for making it through a biblical rainstorm to make it here. I know some of you guys drove really far, some of you drove really short, some of you drove on race slicks, it looks like, which is really, really brave. So props to anybody that drove a really sketchy car over here, which I hope is most of you. Today we are showing you the exhibit that we've been working on for, man, like 2 months, feels like 2 years, but this is the story that we are able to tell of Ken Block. So if you don't know, my name is Ron Zaris, aka Ron Carr.
I'm Brian Scotto.
We worked with Ken from about 2008 until forever. So, you know, we worked on Ken's automotive side of his career and, you know, helped him build the digital side, the cars, the ideas. Really, we were just kind of the annoying kids that kind of helped make Ken's dreams happen. But we're super, super honored to tell this story. And to start out, we're going to show you a little video clip because Ken really taught us not to talk on stage, but
100%.
I like creative stuff and I like fun stuff. you know, and I had this great business career doing DC, and then I transitioned that to this race career. And not only have I gone out and raced, been able to win races and reach a pretty high level of racing, but then to have like this gym connoisseurs, like that sort of career alone there is insane. So to combine those two, yeah, I'm a really lucky bastard.
Ken Block had a major impact on motorsports and subsequently the world of automobiles. His influence shaped everything from the way we now consume car content to how automakers market their cars and how other drivers and teams approach their own storytelling and aesthetic. Before he ever set foot in a rally car, Ken was already an agent of change in the action sports world with DC Shoes, a company he co-founded in 1994. His marketing campaigns revolutionized more than just skatewear, but also the way it was marketed to a rapidly growing audience. This set the groundwork for his move into motorsports, and the rest is the history that you see here in the exhibit today. Ken's early ventures in the car world were anything but subtle, from shipping a squad of camo and fluorescent-clad Subarus overseas to the Gumball 3000 rally, to breaking a world record with a 171-foot jump in his rally car on Discovery Channel. He was doing things different. He then legitimized it all by winning Rookie of the Year in his first season of rally racing in the US. With his unorthodox approach, Ken shifted the energy and eyeballs of the action sports world into his lifelong passion of motorsports. That creative momentum spawned the creation of Ken's Gym Series, which led to over a decade and a half of multi-award winning automotive action films that helped make Ken Block a household name. As meticulous as he was with his own branding and marketing, Ken found just as much focus and raw talent in racing. Block began his driving career at an age where most drivers retired. Despite this, he worked his way through the US Rally Championship to end up as one of only 4 American drivers in the world to score points at the highest level, the World Rally Championship. Not to mention multiple wins and podiums in his later ventures in rallycross in both the US and global series. Ask any of the world champion level drivers that Ken was going toe to toe with. Ken was much more than just a showman and a marketeer. He was a true driver. And through all that, Ken brought his audience along for the ride with groundbreaking livery launches, artist collaborations, car builds, and countless projects with Huna, the automotive lifestyle brand he co-founded in 2011. Any car event that Ken was at, you can bet that he was going to have the longest autograph line, often staying until every last poster was signed. He may have never won a championship in motorsports, but the impact he had on the automotive world will forever be remembered through the countless drivers and creators he inspired, as well as the billions of views his content continues to get. And that's why Ken Block is the people's champ.
So as you can see, this is just a shred of Ken's life, a small part. You know, he had DC Shoes, he had 8 Ball, he was working on magazines, he was doing all this stuff before. So what you guys are gonna see here at this exhibit, the story we wanna tell, is the impact that he had on the automotive world. There's 9 car builds in here, there's a little shipping container we built out to make it feel like you're in the office that we all worked in before. There's so much story to tell, but to focus, we really wanna show you everything that kind of shaped the automotive world today, like Ken did.
And before we get into that, I think it's important for us to thank everyone who's involved in this. He was supposed to remember the list of people to thank, so I'm going to pass it back to you, Ron.
There's a whole lot of people to thank, and my memory is not that great. A lot of sleepless nights. But off the top, big thank you to the Petersen Museum. They let us have a lot of creative freedom in making this. This place is incredible. It's an absolute dream to even be able to tell this story here. Thank you to all the photographers, the videographers, everybody that gave us content, dug through old hard drives to give us high-res files to print on the wall here. Thank you to everybody that supported, and 43 Institute for making all of this happen.
And obviously tonight, this is a fundraiser. We thank all of you who've already bought tickets and are here. We really appreciate that. There will be auctions, everything else. This is all for a good cause. For those of you who don't know about 43 Institute, it is the foundation that we created in Ken's memory. And the whole concept for it, and I can talk about it forever, but at the end of the day, the thing that Ken was really, really good at, and I look at a lot of you in the room who saw this, was being able to create opportunity for people. Create opportunity for me, for Ron, a ton of us here. And I think he was also really good at creating opportunity for what we now have sort of dubbed as like the motivated misfit. The person who didn't have the normal trajectory through life to be successful. And we've put together 43i as this ability to sort of continue that and continue it beyond sort of that original reach that Ken had, and try to be able to give access to people who normally couldn't get that access. Right now we're working with a lot of different organizations. Luckily we have the marketing power and everything from the people who are part of 43i, who are around 43i, and obviously Ken, to help support a lot of other organizations, a lot of other charities out there that are doing great work, working with people, giving people opportunities that for whatever reason they were not, they were not set up for in life to have. So with that, loosen those wallets a little bit, spend some money, it's all for a good cause.
Some really good experiences. We got a table out there if you haven't checked it
Something
out.
that we wanted him to be remembered for. And the biggest thing was the impact he left. And I think a lot of you who are in this world, I look around and see a lot of industry folks, like, I think you know that impact. But I think this is the part that often gets forgotten, because it's really easy to remember a video that got 130 million views or whatever. It's a lot harder though to be able to stick all those things together and draw out a map that shows how that then created an opportunity for someone else, or influenced a different thing, or really changed the way that a lot of people approach this hobby of ours that we all so love. And Ron and I could obviously sit here and talk about it forever, but we're a bit biased because we were along for the ride. So we asked two people to give a little bit of information on this. The first being Jim Farley, CEO of Ford. He unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, but he did send us this video about his time and what it was like to work with Ken.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim Farley. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with all of you, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to recognize Ken and this wonderful exhibit. I can't think of any more appropriate name. Ken truly was the people's champ. He related to everyone, and his passion was infectious to us all. It was impossible not to be drawn in by him. You could see it so clearly just in that brief video. So, thank you to the Petersen for putting on this exhibit and for giving Ken the recognition and respect he deserves. Ken completely embodied the spirit of Ford, a car guy through and through who loved high performance and was dedicated to promoting the automotive lifestyle. And boy, Ken was unique. There are a lot of people out there trying to follow his similar recipe, but no one will ever recreate exactly what Ken did. He truly was a once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-generation talent and personality. Ken was especially passionate about making automotive culture more accessible to young people, and he spent a lot of time focused on ways to get that next generation involved in things he loved most. But that wasn't the only way Ken kept up with the times. When Ken came to us in 2010, he brought his legendary Gymkhana video series with him. And with Ford, he was able to level up those videos, reaching millions more viewers with cutting-edge content, and ultimately doing more Gymkhana videos in Ford than any other brand. And that's something all of us at Ford are very proud of. He was a visionary who brought rallycross all over the world, jumping the hills of San Francisco and blazing through the streets of Dubai. His Gymkhana videos are meticulously planned and they are works of art. He knew exactly what racing fans wanted to watch and how to connect with his viewers. The world was Ken's playground, and no one had more fun playing in that playground than he did. During his decade-long career with Ford, Ken proved that racing is more than just a hobby. Frankly, it's a way of life. He won 19 races and 2 X Games medals, boasted an impressive collection of both new and classic cars, each with his signature Huna touch. And he was instrumental in bringing the first ever production drift stick to the 2016 Ford Focus RS. Thank you, Ken. I want to recognize Ken's wife, Lucy, an extraordinary partner in his career and his life. And that included raising 3 wonderful children, and she's now the driving force behind making this exhibit a reality. And they have truly accomplished that here at the Petersen, with an exhibit that will help ensure his legacy continues to impact the world of motorsports for many, many, many years to come. Ken's was his daring life cut short, a true loss for all of us who counted him as a friend. But for all he managed to accomplish while he was here, we are forever grateful. Thank you all again for being here and for supporting this wonderful tribute to Ken. He's watching over all of us today for sure. So on the way out, do a few donuts.
Responsibly though, responsibly. Don't do it in the streets. Pass it watching.